Speaking test instructions. The speaking test is 20 minutes. There are 8 tasks in the speaking test. Please try your best to answer all the questions.
Start speaking now. Time is up. 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 Start speaking now. Time is up.
Thomas. The non-compete agreement situation creates a complex legal and ethical dilemma that requires very careful navigation and probably professional legal advice. Nevertheless, you need to understand the full implications before making any decisions about this job offer. First and foremost, consult with an employment lawyer who can review your specific non-compete agreement to determine whether it's legally enforceable in your jurisdiction, as many non-compete clauses are overly broad and courts often refuse to enforce them. Furthermore, even if the agreement is technically enforceable, consider whether your current employer would actually pursue legal action or whether the non-compete is primarily a deterrent rather than something they actively enforce against departing employees. Additionally, evaluate the specific terms of your non-compete. Does it prohibit all work in competing companies? Or just specific roles, client relationships, or use of proprietary information? The details matter significantly for both legal risk and ethical considerations. Moreover, accepting a position that clearly violates your contractual obligations could damage your professional reputation regardless of legal outcomes, as industries are often smaller than they appear and word spreads about people who disregard agreements. Although the better pay is attractive, consider whether the potential legal costs, stress of litigation, and reputational damage are worth the salary increase, particularly if your current employer decides to make an example of your case. Consequently, I'd recommend being completely transparent with the potential new employer about your non-compete situation and asking them to review it with their legal team before you make any decisions. Additionally, you might negotiate a delayed start date that moves your employment beyond the non-compete period, or explore whether the new employer would provide legal defense if your current company sues. Despite the temptation to ignore the agreement and hope nothing happens, protecting yourself legally and maintaining professional integrity should take priority over immediate financial gain. The key is making an informed decision based on actual legal advice rather than assumptions about enforceability or risk. 3 years ago, I strongly believed that a colleague named Jennifer was deliberately undermining my work and spreading negative information about me to our manager. I had convinced myself of this narrative based on several incidents. Jennifer had questioned my approach in team meetings. I had been left off email chains that I felt I should have been included on. And I heard through office gossip that Jennifer had made critical comments about my project management style. Furthermore, I interpreted every interaction with Jennifer through this lens of suspicion, seeing hostility in neutral comments and malicious intent in ordinary workplace behavior. I complained to other colleagues about Jennifer's treatment of me and even considered reporting her to HR for creating a hostile work environment. Additionally, I actively avoided collaborating with Jennifer and bristled at her suggestions during meetings, convinced she was trying to make me look incompetent. The situation came to a head when our manager arranged a mediation session after noticing the tension between us. During that conversation, I learned that Jennifer had actually been advocating strongly for my promotion in private conversations with management, had excluded me from certain emails specifically because she was defending my work against criticism from other departments, and had questioned my approaches in meetings because she genuinely wanted to understand my reasoning and learn from my methods. Moreover, Jennifer was completely bewildered by my hostility toward her and hurt that I had apparently misinterpreted her intentions so completely. I felt absolutely terrible when I realized how wrong I had been. Initially, I wanted to make excuses about miscommunication or defend my interpretation of events. But I forced myself to acknowledge that I had created a completely false narrative based on assumptions rather than facts. I apologized sincerely to Jennifer, both privately and in front of the team members I had complained to about her. Additionally, I had to examine my own insecurities and tendencies toward negative interpretation that had led me to see hostility where none existed. This experience taught me crucial lessons about confirmation bias, how we interpret ambiguous information to support our existing beliefs, and the importance of direct communication rather than assumptions. Most significantly, I learned that when I find myself building negative narratives about someone's intentions, I should question my own interpretations and seek clarification rather than accepting my worst assumptions as facts. This charming illustration depicts a traditional bookstore cafe on a rainy autumn afternoon, where literary enthusiasts and casual readers have sought refuge from the weather while indulging in their love of books and warm beverages. The cozy interior features floor-to-ceiling mahogany bookshelves packed with titles, exposed brick walls adorned with vintage literary posters, and soft amber lighting from antique-style lamps creating an intimate atmosphere. In the foreground, a university student with wire-rimmed glasses is deeply absorbed in a thick philosophy textbook at a corner table, her cappuccino growing cold beside a stack of color-coded sticky notes and highlighters. Meanwhile, near the window seat, an elderly gentleman in a tweed jacket is browsing through the poetry section, occasionally pausing to read passages aloud quietly to himself. On the left side of the scene, a barista with a handlebar mustache is skillfully operating an espresso machine behind a wooden counter, steam rising as he prepares a latte art design, while customers wait patiently in a short queue examining the pastry display case filled with croissants and muffins. Additionally, a young couple is sharing a leather armchair, taking turns reading passages from a paperback novel to each other between sips of chai tea. The background reveals a spiral staircase leading to a second-floor mezzanine level where additional reading nooks are tucked between bookshelves. And through the rain-streaked windows, blurred figures with umbrellas can be seen hurrying past on the cobblestone street outside. Furthermore, a ginger tabby cat is curled contentedly on a velvet cushion near a radiator, apparently the bookstore's resident feline companion. What makes this establishment particularly special is how it merges commercial and cultural spaces, creating a sanctuary where the tactile pleasure of physical books coexists with social interaction, proving that despite digital alternatives, traditional bookstores continue to serve as vital community gathering places for intellectual exchange and quiet contemplation. Initially, the young man deeply engrossed in his philosophy textbook will continue his studies while occasionally sipping his latte, whereas the barista will prepare additional specialty coffee drinks for the growing queue of customers. Subsequently, the couple sharing a book on the leather sofa will likely finish their current chapter before ordering refills or selecting new reading material from the extensive shelves, while simultaneously, the elderly gentleman by the window will turn another page of his classic novel while watching the rainy street scene outside. Meanwhile, browsers will presumably climb the elegant spiral staircase to explore the upper-level collection of rare books and literary classics. And consequently, some might discover hidden literary gems they've been searching for. Furthermore, as the afternoon progresses, the cozy ambiance created by warm lighting and exposed brick walls will attract more readers seeking refuge from the inclement weather. Despite the steady stream of patrons, the establishment maintains its peaceful, contemplative atmosphere. Nevertheless, occasional conversations about literature and philosophy will emerge among like-minded visitors. In addition, the resident bookshop cat will eventually wake from its nap and wander between tables seeking attention. In conclusion, This charming hybrid bookstore cafe will continue serving as a cultural haven where coffee, literature, and community converge perfectly. Patricia, I understand your preference for the community center hall for Robert's retirement party. But I believe the office conference room actually represents the better choice for this celebration. First and foremost, holding the party at our office location means that people can easily attend during or immediately after work hours without requiring additional travel to an unfamiliar venue, which will likely result in much higher attendance from colleagues who want to honor Robert. Furthermore, the office setting provides comfortable familiarity for Robert, who has spent 30 years in this workplace, and celebrating in the environment where he built his career creates meaningful symbolic closure for this chapter of his professional life. Additionally, using the office conference room eliminates all rental costs, allowing us to redirect our budget toward higher quality food, a more generous gift, or other elements that will make the celebration more special. Moreover, while the space requires setup and cleanup, our team has already volunteered to handle these tasks, and decorating the office actually provides an opportunity for personal touches and customization that might not be possible in a generic community center. Although the community center offers more space, consider that the somewhat intimate nature of an office celebration might actually feel more personal and meaningful than a larger, more formal venue that lacks connection to Robert's career. Consequently, colleagues can easily drop by during the party even if they can't stay for the entire event. And Robert can revisit his workspace one final time in a celebratory context rather than just packing up and leaving. Despite the concern about it feeling less special, thoughtful decoration, quality catering brought in, and the genuine warmth of colleagues in a familiar setting can create a more emotionally meaningful celebration than an expensive restaurant with limited attendance. The upscale restaurant option, while elegant, restricts our guest list due to cost and space limitations. Don't you think celebrating in the place where Robert actually built his 30-year career creates more authentic meaning than a generic external venue? Patricia, while I appreciate the cost savings of using the office conference room, I strongly believe the upscale restaurant private room represents the most appropriate choice for honoring Robert's 30-year career. First and foremost, Robert has dedicated 3 decades to this organization, and celebrating this major milestone in a genuinely special venue demonstrates the significance of his contribution and shows that we value him enough to invest in a proper celebration. Furthermore, an elegant restaurant setting creates a clear distinction between this retirement party and ordinary office meetings or events, marking this as a truly special occasion rather than just another workplace gathering. Additionally, professional catering at a quality restaurant ensures that the food, service, and overall experience will be excellent without requiring colleagues to manage setup, serving, or cleanup, allowing everyone to simply enjoy celebrating Robert. Moreover, removing the celebration from the office environment allows for a more relaxed, social atmosphere where people can focus entirely on honoring Robert rather than being distracted by work responsibilities or the reminder of daily workplace routines. Although the per-person cost is expensive and space is limited, consider that inviting Robert's closest colleagues and longest tenured coworkers to an intimate, high-quality celebration might be more meaningful than a large gathering in a mediocre space. Consequently, the elegant setting provides appropriate gravitas for acknowledging 30 years of professional dedication, and Robert will remember and appreciate that we invested in making this celebration truly special. Despite the community center being affordable and spacious, Neutral impersonal spaces lack the warmth and significance that a proper restaurant venue provides. The office conference room, while free and familiar, essentially tells Robert that his retirement celebration wasn't important enough to warrant going anywhere special or spending resources to honor him properly. Don't you think Robert deserves a genuinely elegant, well-catered celebration that reflects 30 years of commitment rather than a budget-focused party in our everyday workspace? Margaret, I need to inform you about a scheduling conflict that I'm facing regarding the Industry Award ceremony, and I want to explain why I cannot attend despite the honor of being selected. First and foremost, please know that I'm deeply grateful for this recognition, and I understand that this award represents significant professional acknowledgement that most people would prioritize attending. Nevertheless, I have a prior commitment that I cannot in good conscience break. I'm the main coordinator for a charity event serving underprivileged children that's scheduled for the same evening. Furthermore, this isn't just a casual volunteer activity but an event I personally organized and have been planning for 6 months. And dozens of children and their families are expecting the activities and support I've promised to provide. Additionally, as the primary coordinator, my absence would likely mean canceling or significantly diminishing the event, which would disappoint vulnerable children who have very few opportunities for the kind of experience we've planned. Moreover, I made this commitment to the charity months before learning about the award ceremony. And I believe honoring prior commitments demonstrates the kind of integrity that presumably contributed to receiving this recognition in the first place. Although I'm disappointed to miss the ceremony, I'm hoping the organization might be willing to present the award at a different time. Perhaps at a smaller gathering or through a representative accepting on my behalf. Or even mailing the physical award if that's not possible. Consequently, I wanted to reach out personally to explain this situation rather than simply declining without context, because I truly value this recognition even though I cannot attend the ceremony. Additionally, I hope the organization understands that my decision reflects commitment to serving vulnerable populations rather than lack of appreciation for the honor. Despite missing the formal ceremony, this award remains a significant professional achievement that I'll celebrate and acknowledge. Just not at the expense of children who are counting on me. Would the organization be willing to consider alternative arrangements for presenting this award? Linda, I need to discuss a scheduling conflict regarding the charity event next month. And I'm hoping we can work together to find a solution. First and foremost, I want to acknowledge that I committed to coordinating this event and that you and the children are counting on me to be there. Nevertheless, I've just learned that I've been selected to receive a prestigious industry award with a ceremony scheduled for the same evening as our charity event. Furthermore, this award represents significant professional recognition that could enhance my career credibility and potentially increase my ability to support charitable causes like ours through increased professional influence and resources. Additionally, this is a rare honor that very few people in my field receive. And the ceremony only happens once annually, meaning declining attendance essentially forfeits the public recognition aspect of the award entirely. Moreover, while I'm absolutely committed to ensuring the charity event succeeds, I believe we can work together to find someone capable of coordinating the event in my absence who can execute the plans I've already developed. Although I understand my absence creates challenges, consider that I've documented every aspect of the event planning, created detailed timelines and task lists, and can provide comprehensive training to whoever steps in as coordinator. Consequently, I'm proposing that we identify a reliable volunteer or staff member who can take over coordination. And I'll spend significant time over the next few weeks ensuring they're fully prepared and confident in executing the event successfully. Additionally, I'm committed to being available by phone throughout the event evening if any questions or problems arise that the new coordinator needs help addressing. Despite needing to attend the award ceremony, I remain deeply committed to this charity and to these children, and I'm willing to take on additional responsibilities for future events or increase my financial contribution to compensate for my physical absence. Would you be willing to work with me to transition coordination responsibilities to someone else, while ensuring the event still provides the wonderful experience we've planned for these children? Companies should be legally required to disclose salary ranges for all job postings, as this policy promotes fairness, efficiency, and equity in labor markets while imposing minimal burden on employers. First and foremost, salary transparency helps address systemic wage gaps by making it more difficult for employers to pay different amounts for identical work based on candidates' negotiation skills, previous salary history, or demographic characteristics. Furthermore, disclosing salary ranges saves time and resources for both employers and job seekers by ensuring that candidates with incompatible salary expectations don't waste time applying for or interviewing for positions they would ultimately decline. Additionally, transparency empowers workers to make informed career decisions and negotiate more effectively, addressing the information asymmetry that currently advantages employers who know market rates, while individual workers often don't. Moreover, salary disclosure doesn't require companies to reveal proprietary information or detailed compensation structures. Just posting reasonable ranges like $60,000 to $75,000 provides sufficient information without exposing sensitive business data. Although some employers argue that salary ranges limit negotiation flexibility or that compensation is too complex to summarize in a range, these concerns are outweighed by the benefits of market transparency and the reality that employers already have internal salary ranges for positions whether or not they disclose them publicly. Consequently, requiring disclosure simply makes existing internal information public rather than creating new administrative burdens for employers. Additionally, evidence from jurisdictions that have implemented salary transparency laws shows that these policies don't harm business competitiveness and may actually improve employee satisfaction and retention by creating perceptions of fairness. Some argue that mandatory disclosure represents government overreach, but labor market regulations already exist in numerous forms, and salary transparency serves important public interests in reducing discrimination and improving market efficiency. Therefore, requiring companies to disclose salary ranges represents reasonable policy that balances employer flexibility with worker empowerment, promotes fairness and efficiency in hiring, and addresses information asymmetries that currently disadvantage individual workers in labor markets. Kevin, I just found the perfect addition for your dorm room at the Science Museum gift shop. While browsing with your cousin Tyler, I discovered this absolutely incredible globe that's completely different from anything I've ever seen before. Instead of showing current political boundaries, this globe displays Earth as it appeared during the age of dinosaurs, with all the continents arranged in the supercontinent Pangaea formation. What makes this extraordinarily fascinating is how the globe actually splits apart into movable pieces, allowing you to physically demonstrate continental drift by separating and rearranging the land masses to show their movement over millions of years. Furthermore, each continental section is color-coded by geological era and features raised relief showing ancient mountain ranges. And when you press specific locations, LED lights illuminate where major dinosaur fossils have been discovered. Not only is it an educational tool, But it also doubles as a conversation piece with a beautiful bronze stand that makes it look like a high-end decorative item rather than just a study aid. The base includes a detailed timeline showing Earth's geological periods. And there's even a companion app that provides augmented reality features when you scan the globe with your phone. Since the museum prohibits photography in their gift shop to maintain exclusivity on their custom educational products, I couldn't take pictures for you. Given your geography major and how fascinated you've always been with plate tectonics and Earth's geological history, this interactive Pangea globe would be absolutely perfect for both your studies and impressing your classmates. What do you think about this as an early graduation gift?